Hey Flame Squad, let's go ahead and get started with guessing them grades. Gonna go ahead and start out with a dark Arbok. As you can see, even from the very start, you can see that there is a dent at the top and something that's not coming off. Ooh, does that count as a misprint? Hold on. I don't think it does. I'm not trying to be that guy who sees things. I think it's just dirt. The only issue is it's too round. I'll make a note of it on the sheet. I don't think it's a misprint, but we'll look that up and see if anyone's calling that a dot misprint. It's probably just dirt. I can't get it off. I don't know. But little dent up top. Hollow foil is pretty much intact. Centering's good. Centering's good. There is some more like uplift here. Back's not too bad. 7? Not the worst thing in the world. I mean, granted, really, if you're gonna get a 7, you want to at least be first edition, and or if we can count that that's a misprint, that helps. I don't think it is a misprint, though. I think it's just my imagination. Following that one, the Japanese version. I think it's interesting how Japanese decided to go with different hollow foil, and they also change up their symbols on the right slightly. I mean, there's some other stuff, slightly bordered different color. There's like dots along the card. Hollow foil on this one is superb, very nice. In fact, I thought the Arbok collar was different. He looked different. I never noticed how much of a face that was on Arbok. I never noticed it actually till right now, that this whole time that Arbok has this gigantic like evil face on his neck spread. I never noticed that. Okay, everything seems fine on the card. This is a possible 10 in my opinion. But you let me know in the comments what you think. I think it's a 10. I also hope it's a 10. I think right from the opening with that first grade, you can tell that like I'm not too unrealistic. Like I'm not always saying, oh, these are 10s, these are 10s. Like clearly, like I can try and take in stuff to account. Like I see some silvering up top. The border's pretty fine. There's actually minor scratches, like super minor. Like typically cards like this have a ton just because of it being all hollow foil. Most of the damage is really at the top. This is Tropical Meryl. And then super, super minor stuff on the back. We're looking at the 8s to 9s for this card, which is pretty good. I think this card has a really low pop as a 10, I believe, just because of how easy it is for it to get scratched. Although I don't think mine is a 10. I think it's a 9. It's probably 8 to 9. To me, while I was getting this video ready, I like to think of certain things that I guess other people want it. There's some scratches on here for sure. And I like to think about, you know, in terms of the Pokemon world, would Muck exist if it wasn't for humans? Because he's basically just like trash, and I don't really recall like other Pokemon creating trash. So is Muck technically a Pokemon created by humans? I mean, technically it kind of makes him the same category as Mewtwo was created by humans. There's definitely a lot more scratches than I remember on this one. I'm going to say 6 to 7, but I would say 6 to 8 too. I know it seems unrealistic, but this is about the same shape as that Shadowless Charizard was that I sent in that got an 8. Huh. We'll say 6 to 7. That might seem high to some of you, but I think in terms of, I've had a bunch of 10s and some 8s and even some 7 PSA cards, and not the ones that I sent in, but ones that I've bought, and I think the PSA case hides some of the damage. Alright, so this Nidoking is pretty beat up. Nidoqueen. And some of you might be like, why are you even going to send it in? It's not first edition. It's not a misprint. It's not hollow. And it's just because I have to send in some cards that, are borderline worth grading and borderline not in super, super great shape just in terms of how I do it. I send in 100 cards at a time right now. And I have to have some cards to balance out the value of the entire set. And this stack in particular, based on the title, just already know basically sort of the title of my dream I'm going for with this video, need to add some cards that aren't worth too much. So I don't even know if they make this in holo. They probably do. I probably have had one go through this channel, or I have in a binder right now. Really good centering, really good front. I think they do have it in holo. Some whiting down there. I'd say 9. I'd say 9. So yeah, I just think the PSA case hides some damage because cards do just look better in the PSA case. Did I? I didn't grade that beat up Nidoqueen. The beat up one. 5 to 6. Did not grade that one. So funny. And then an actual, I had a ton as a kid. This is possibly one of my own. I had a ton of holo Nidoqueens that I also played the crap out of. Something about Nidoqueen that I liked as a kid was just this flat 50, decent HP, and just like this really strong, scary kind of looking like I'm gonna beat the shit out of whoever's in front of me Pokemon. Even if her stats weren't the greatest. So there's some whitening, there's some scratches on the back. Centering's pretty good, and there's a upraised corner here. 5 to 7? That might be a little high. I mean, the 5's probably on point, but we'll give it a 2 grade guess. And remember, we don't send these grades into the PSA. This is just for our own personal reference. So there's no persuasion to them or, you know, them saying, fuck this guy. It's a cleaner Eevee. I have quite a few of these that are scratched up. Just to this haul full is really easy to scratch up. And there is like 1 or 2. And I know I always say this, I'm going to do it again. This promo Eevee, the reason why it's holo foil is yellow, blue, and red is because originally Eevee only had 3 evolutions instead of like the 30 things he evolves into now. And so the yellow, blue, and red each represent each one. Red for Flareon, yellow for Jolteon, and blue for Vaporeon. And so that's why it's really a pretty cool card in my opinion. Centering's fine. Centering's fine. 9? It's a pretty clean card. It's a cool looking card. Now this other one I was debating on sending in. It's more beat up than I wish it was, and I already have quite a few beat up cards in this stack, but I think I'll send it in. It doesn't even feel good to hold. That's how beat up it is. He's got a wave there, as in like in terms of him being bent. He's got some ruffles up top. His holo foil, ironically, is like in really good shape. Some silvering. Centering is okay. It's definitely not perfect. And then, of course, his back has like that rough wax on the back because it's been used a lot. The thing is, though, his holo foil was in really good shape. A lot of whiting. 3 to 5? I'm going to say 3 to 5. And it doesn't help that he's not even base set. He's base set 2. As far as I'm aware of, there's no misprint on him. There's no first edition. So yeah, 3 to 5. I know some of you are saying he's absolutely not worth it. I'm still gonna send him in for now. Oh, so Shadowless Machoke, little upbeat there. Centering's a little off, left to right, top to bottom's fine. But yeah, just a little bit of front whitening. He was always kind of weird because he had that like where he damages himself, but there's some other ones. But it's weird to see because they do the 50 minus sign. Does 50 damage minus 10 damage for each damage counter on Machoke. So he can have more than 50. So eventually, technically, this attack becomes useless. And then also his other attack submission, Machoke does 20 damage to itself. So it's kind of interesting how he's got like a mix. He's got some whitening. 6 to 7? It's probably closer to 6. But we'll say 6 to 7. Alright, next up is Dragonite Fossil, non-hollow. This one also could be in better shape. It's got some ruffle up top. Centering's fine. He has some stains, some ruffle on the bottom. Main picture and art is fine. Some stuff on the side there. His back is a little dirty. He's got some whitening. Oof, more than I'd like. He's got a lot of his main wax though. I think we'll just go with a flat 5. I think a flat 5 is the way to go for that one. And then up next is a card that I think people had more of than even the base set first edition Machamp, is Fossil Lapras. I think because he was in a theme deck, I think, is why so many people had so many of them. Tons of stars in that hollow foil, though. Clean bordering all around. Super minor scratches in the hollow foil. I could see a 9. I could see a 9 for this card. And it was also funny, because everyone always thought, I mean, even I did, I'm not like making fun of people. People always thought, wow, he was 8 foot long, wow, he was big. People always thought that, like, you know, Lapras was an alternate evolution from, like, Dragonair, Dragonite, stuff like that, which always made sense to me as a kid. Coming up next is a Shining Ho-Oh. The first spotted legendary Pokemon. Wow, he was 12 feet. Dang. Ho-Oh, big boy. Centering's pretty good. Nothing wrong with the front of the card itself. I could see this getting a 10. Minor whitening. Super minor. I'm going to say 10. It's just such minor whitening. Wait, nah. Dang, I didn't notice these ruffles. Jeez. Someone did some damage to this card, man. That's rough. That is super rough. It's a lot of damage. We just went from a 10 to 9 to like 6, 5 to 6, just like that. That's rough, man. Ugh. Not my favorite. Next up is a Shadowless Charmander. A little bit beat up corner. Beat up corners. Damage at the top. At least it's not like that Ho-Oh. Jesus. Oof. 4 could be better. Could be better. That Ho-Oh is... Wow. It's upsetting. Oh wait, now we're getting to the main cheeses. Oh wait, so we've got Reshiram and Charizard GX tag team from Sun and Moon tagged Unbroken Bonds. It's actually the one we pulled. I'm gonna send it in, get it graded. What is up with my pulls from fresh sealed booster box / packs having damage to them? And it's always the high value cards. I guess 9. It's not my favorite. Shooting for that 10. I'll say 9 to 10. Alright, following up. Another high roll was also from the same card shop. And it is that Vivid Voltage promo Charizard, which is just going up in value like crazy. This should get a 10. Go ahead. Get you in there. You can see now that the value of this is starting to stack up. Would have been stacking up if the Shining Ho-Ho didn't have so much damage to it. Followed up with a Charizard and Brazen GX tag team. Super clean. Hold on. Pretty certain that's part of the design, this little dot down here. It's really hard to tell. I'm gonna say 10. It's just such a clean card. Followed up by Charizard from the Detective Pikachu movie, which was actually a pretty decent movie. Even as an adult, I'd really suggest it. Something to watch for the kids and still keep you entertained. I think that's a misprint. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. That doesn't look like dirt because that's a misprint. That's 100% a yellow dot misprint. Yellow dot misprint. They cannot help themselves with these dot misprints with Charizards, can they? Huh? So interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if anyone's catching that one yet. It's not necessarily an old card. It's been out for a little bit, but nothing crazy long. It's an interesting Charizard to me. Definitely like Ash's Charizard refusing to take orders. It's a nice hollow foil. I wish it was more mirror. There's definitely a ton of minor scratches. Some silvering up top, some silvering down below. Yeah, this isn't part of the... Oh, but it's coming off really easily. That's fantastic. Oh, but... Oh, yeah, it's still coming off. Whatever it is. I don't know what this is that's on the card. Interesting. Interesting. Coming off super easy. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, yeah, that came off. I thought we had another yellow dot misprint. Some silvering at the corners. Kind of already looking at the 7 categories. I think it's a 7. It's probably 627. We're just going to say 7. Call it a day on that one. And then we have one left. I did not grade the yellow misprint. He's in pretty solid shape. We'll say 10. 10, 7. And then we have Dark Charizard, non-hollow. To me, it really doesn't make a difference because you really can't see his hollow foil anyways, if he was hollow. Everything's in pretty good order. The back could be better. We'll say 8. 829. And that concludes this. I really hope the fact you liked that we stacked this one with a decent amount of Charizards. We probably could have, if we would have pulled these out, we probably could have done a whole stack of 20 different Charizards. But we like to keep things, you know, a little fresh here and there. Some, you know, fresh air, fresh blood, stuff like that. Really hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about those misprints. Granted, I know you didn't really see it in person, but I did a good job focusing on it. Really do think we have a new misprint for Charizard. I really do think that one is a yellow dot misprint. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. And without further ado, thanks for watching.